What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Brick Brother Podcast. Y'all see, man, we getting real bougie with it, man. We got the nice little setup with it, you know. It's real nice out here in Tampa. And I got my co-host right here, Edrick Dillard. You already know. We got my man, Reggie Thomas, my boxing coach, and also Lucas Clay, another professional fighter who's been helping me get ready for this fight. But, man, we out here, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, same show, different location. We're in Tampa right now. How is that flight and everything getting into Tampa?
The fight was cool, you know. Obviously, you was out there with me. But I feel like, you know, having this flight here to Tampa, you know, y'all see where we at. You know, sorry, not public. You know, my guys back here. I got Max. I got my man Thang. What's your name? One was Shavir. My bad. All right, I didn't want to mess you up on the pod. But regardless, they done made this trip real nice for us. You know, everything they've been real hospitable into finding the gyms for us. You know, making sure that we got everything that we need. You know, we got the saunas that we can hook up to where we can get our workouts in. You know, anything that we needed, especially even a spot where we can do our studio so we can make sure that we can talk to y'all, the fans. You know, they made sure that we can get that done. Shit, even David Buster's, man, even tried to play us, you know, for a little situation. But they made sure that everything was all good and that we was able to set up everything and make sure that everything ran smoothly, man. So shout out to them, man, because I think right now everything's been perfect for how this whole trip been, you know, here in Tampa.
No, yeah, absolutely agreed. The Tampa family is lit for sure. Taking care of us. We had some hitches when we needed to do a live and watch party and everything like that. So appreciate you guys. What's the overall atmosphere do you feel like Tampa is? You know, like what do you feel about it?
I mean, be honest with you, I feel like it's a connected place here in Tampa. You know, I feel like there's a vibe with, you know, there's a lot of people that's connected, that's networked in. You know, if you ain't got it, you know somebody who with it. You know, so I feel like here it's just a good spot where you can connect with good people, and it's been a good vibe since we've been here in Tampa, bro. You know, what about yourself?
No, it's super cool. I mean, obviously getting a break from the winter in St. Louis is pretty nice always, and then just it's a lot going on. Like, we were at the Lightning game the other day, and it was, like, the craziest experience that I probably had at a hockey game. What do you feel about that?
No, the Lightning game, I ain't gonna lie, bro, that was lit. So, having my first hockey game, funny enough, even though we from St. Louis, you know.
You never seen a Blues game?
Right, never went to a Blues game.
Crazy.
Funny enough. You know what, they ain't never invited me, you know what I'm saying? So, the Lightnings, you know, once they figured out that we was out here in Tampa, you know, they reached out and, you know, they said they got some tickets for us. So, they took care of us, you know. We met Brian Bradley.
Brian Bradley, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer now, you know, so we got to see that whole moment. And then also the game went well too, right? So 8-1, you know, I think they faced the Sharks, San
Jose Sharks, yeah.
So yeah, they dominated real good for the first game, so that was pretty dope.
Real fun. No, it was fun game.
Yes,
Definitely a fun game. We also met Derek Brooks, too.
Okay, yeah, we sure did. The linebacker.
Couple Hall of
I never
Famers.
seen him play though.
He was a bad dude.
He a bad boy.
Bad dude.
Yeah.
I like Derek Brooks, man.
I'm kind of tripping off the fact you've never been to a Blues game, though. I got some really good dirty boxing tricks from Blues games.
I believe it. No, them hockey players know how to throw down though. That's what I love about it, bro.
St. Louis Blues, you got to do better. Invite Joaquin on, you know.
There it is.
There we go.
That's all it is. You know, we going to come through, but now I feel like, man, my first interaction, I feel like, bro, the Blues going to have to try to top that. That's going to be hard to top, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, you got to preview, or not preview, promote your fight with Covington in front of everybody. That was a pretty cool experience, getting in front of all the Lightning fans, everybody supporting you and cheering you on.
Of course, and I think that's the main thing. As a fighter, you want to be able to get as many eyes as possible, especially if those eyes aren't really familiar with mixed martial arts, if they're not familiar with the UFC. So if you're able to tap into an arena where, you know, there's a different sporting event, you know, why not put yourself out there, you know, and give yourself an opportunity to really kind of get some new eyes and some new fans. And I really feel like with that opportunity that Tampa Lightning gave us, you know, we're going to have some guys come out there, you know what I mean, and become a UFC fan for sure, right after my fight with Covington.
Yes, sir. Speaking of fight week, it's that time now, short time, getting prepared. What's that final preparation like?
Man, look, I feel like everything that we've been doing leading up to this fight, all the preparation done. There's like everything else, we can kind of chill, we can relax. Obviously, we still got to, you know, get the weight down. But I'm 10 pounds out, you know what I mean? And we still got, about 5-6 days, you know, to get that weight down. So for me, I feel like all the preparation is done, but it allows me to do stuff like this. It allows me to go out to games and events to promote. It allows me to do watch parties. It allows me to do our podcast right here because I feel like this is the next step, right? To be able to promote and collect content and really kind of push this fight to try to get as many eyes as possible. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't seen Kobe. He been quiet. He ain't been promoting. You know, we ain't seen him. But I feel like this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing my part for the UFC. So I feel like all the preparation, bro, there's nothing else that we need for this fight.
Absolutely. Reggie, you saw Kobe earlier, didn't you?
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, I seen Kobe earlier.
Okay, hold on. You ain't tell me this, man. What's going on?
Kobe earlier.
What happened when you seen Kobe?
He looked nervous, bro. He looked nervous, dog. We seen him when we pulled up. We was picking up Jeff. So when we pulled up and picked up Jeff, like you seen Kobe just kind of, he had his back up against him. What was funny, though, about it was when Trav jumped out, he seen Sean Woodson, who was on the court.
Okay.
earlier.
Shout out to Sean
And
Woodson. He also on the
like,
court.
what's up, Sean? Because Sean was on the same court as us in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what's up, Sean? You know, he went over there and talked to Sean coaches. But as soon as we came in, Kobe was standing right there. Was Kobe, Sean. So we had to cross Kobe to get to Sean.
Right.
So Trav jumped out like some St. Louis dude.
Yeah.
What's up, Sean? What up? And then we seen Kobe, and Kobe back up against the wall. And he looked nervous, bro. He looked nervous, bro. He just kind of looked like he was timid. He was just kind of sitting there, and then he was kind of looking at Trav, kind of like, who is this dude right here?
Yeah,
dog?
so funny enough, I get to meet him tomorrow, I believe. We do a face-off.
Yeah.
So we do our official face-off. So, yeah, I want to see that same little... No, actually, I want to see... No, I don't want to see that nervous energy, man. I got to see the chaos. You know what I mean? The Kobe Covington, the character, you know?
His energy felt off, though. His energy felt off to me. Like normally everybody used to that talkative Kobe, that character Kobe. He didn't give us none of that. He didn't even like, you know, it's just something, I don't know.
No. Because, you know, he got to live up to that, for sure.
Are you surprised that he's been a lot more tame? Of course, we heard rumblings of him talking a bunch of smack on Twitch and doing it kind of discreetly, but, you know, he's usually so... overt with it and loud and braggadocious and boisterous. Are you surprised that he's been more tame leading up to this fight?
Be honest with you, I am surprised. Because, be honest with you, every time we see him, that's what he's about. You know, he did it with Marcy, dog. He did it with Leon. He did it with Usman, of course, right? So I'm expecting nothing different. I'm expecting all type of nicknames, you know what I mean, to come out of the blue. You know, him calling me Buckwheat, you know what I'm saying? Want to be Nick Cannon, you know what I'm saying? Or Tyler
Creator, yeah.
You know, whatever, you know. But no, it's been all crickets, you know. I heard there's been a couple things he's been doing on his little Twitch or his little Kick, whatever, you know, trying to be an influencer. But he hasn't really kind of pushed that out to the public. So I am kind of surprised. But at the end of the day, it's just like when you say these things and when you try to promote the fight in a certain type of way, you got to live on it. You got to stand on it, you know. And I just truly believe, you know, with all that being said, it's just, I don't know if my man really believes he going to win this fight. And I'm just keeping it a buck, you know. With all the time I've been putting in and everything that I've been doing, you know, y'all see how I come, you know, the majority of my wins in the welterweight division are by knockouts, you know, and I got 7 knockouts within the UFC. I don't think Kobe has 1 knockout, let alone damn near a finish in the UFC. So it's just gonna speak volumes when I'm out there in that cage that, you know, yeah, Kobe gonna be dealing with a lot.
No, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, everybody heading into fight week feels like they're going to win. But how do you see this fight playing out? What's your, like, prediction of how you see it Saturday night going forward?
Oh, man, my hand getting raised. But, of course, with Kobe looking up to the sky, you know what I'm saying? And Dana handing him little walking papers, you know what I'm saying? His last little check. But, you know, in all honesty, it's just like, for me, all the preparation we didn't put in, it's just like, it got to be a banger, you know? This is the last, not only just the last event of the year, but I'm the last fight of the year. You know, I feel like we got to end this off on a good one. And I feel like there's been a couple performances that a lot of people been expecting to see, especially on that last fight card, and they didn't get the, you know, they didn't get the vibe from. So I feel like this last event, bro, we really got to show up and show out for the people, you know what I mean, before the new year. Yeah.
No, definitely. And just leading into that, just this fight happened in general, I feel like it's like destiny. You know, I remember probably about 5 or 6 years ago, me just being at my apartment and calling you at the time and just bugging you like, hey, Buck, man, like, I feel like you match really well with Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman, and it was just interesting because at the time they were number 1, number 2 in the division, and I was telling you, you know, you weren't even in the UFC yet.
Even better, I wasn't even in the UFC.
And I was like, man,
I was still looking for a job, dog.
I was like, man, you know,
applying for Walgreens at the time.
If we clean up a couple things, you could definitely beat this guy. You're that good. I don't even know if you believed me at the time. You know, it was one of those things, and just to see the power of perseverance and you put in the work and making those adjustments that we talked about, and honestly just believing it. And you're at this moment, your first main event, and you're fighting Kobe Covington. So it's just kind of crazy to see.
And that's good. Why you got to have people that, you know, if you can't see it for yourself, they can see it for you, you know, seeing from the outside in, you know, because you already know at that time when I was dealing with what I was dealing with my grandmother, you know what I mean, her being diagnosed with ALS, you know, me, you know, getting kicked out of the gym at the time in St. Louis, you know, I was dealing with a lot, trying to figure things out, you know, and I was ready to just kind of give up on the dream. Man, figured that I did give up on the dream, you know what I mean? And I really was just like, taking the wave to like, okay, this fighting stuff ain't going nowhere, you know, let me just dial in and make some money and just take care of my family the best way I know how. But at the end of the day, the best way I know how is by fighting, you know. And for me, it's just like, that also made me happy, you know what I mean? That also made me have a passion to get up every morning. And when I didn't have that, like, you know what I'm saying, I really kind of just felt down on myself. But like you told me, though, you was like, bro, if you stick with this or if you go with this, you know what I'm saying, and do something different, like, you're going to regret it, you know what I mean? You told me I had 2 fights and I'd be in the UFC, right? And with that story, it's just like, you know what I mean, once you told me that, that gave me the motivation to keep going, to keep training, and having that perseverance to keep moving forward and what we're doing. And it took us a little time, right? You know what I mean? We got the LFA fight. We got the Chris Harris fight. We ended up knocking him out. And it took some more time, but then I got my second fight with the LFA, beat Jackie Gosh, and then a week later, we were signed into the
like
UFC.
3 days later, which is even crazier.
Exactly. But if you didn't tell me that, or if you didn't have the, you know, the courage to give me like that motivation, you know what I'm saying? Like, no telling where I'd be. I'd probably still be in the same spot where I'm at today, you know? And I feel like at the end of the day, this is how I'm able to take care of my family. This is how I'm able to give my family exactly what they deserve, you know what I mean, by able to pursue my dreams and my passion. So I appreciate you, brother, you know what I mean, for keeping me locked in.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I think the thing was, like, I could act like I mean, of course I did something, but my point being is, it's like when you know somebody's great and there's an opportunity for them to achieve that greatness, you can't stand by the wayside and allow somebody to throw the opportunity away. And then the thing for me was, you were having, you had a kid on the way, and your grandma, of course, with her health issues and stuff like that. Everybody wanted to see you win, and that was your best opportunity to make a life for your grandma and for your son. And I just knew that if you threw that away, you regret it for the rest of your life. And something as obvious as that, and I talk about this, you have to see the obvious before it's obvious to everyone else. If you show up on time, you're usually late to the party, for those who really know. So I just think that it couldn't be better this week for me to be able to have the opportunity to coach against Kobe, because at that time I knew you were right there. Even though you weren't in the UFC, you were right there. And I felt that you were the best welterweight in the world, and I think you get that opportunity to show that very soon.
Yes, sir. We will, And speaking of the corners, obviously have my brother Edrick Dillard in my corner, have Reggie Thomas in my corner, have Travis Brown, have also your coach, Jeff Henry in my corner, you know what I'm saying? Actually, you want to speak about, St. Charles MMA,
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough gym for a long time. It's just the atmosphere, sink or swim. Somebody like you always flow with ease, and talent comes seldomly. Hard work is consistent, but we have a few people who are intelligent with fighting, and blessed that they're in coaching positions. Jeff Henry is one of the most creative striking coaches I've ever met, and I've met plenty, and it's just good for MMA. Maybe it wouldn't translate as well in any specialist art, but if he mixes it up well, and I love to see the techniques that you do blend with his strategy and theories. But shout out to SCMMA. I'm proud to be
big shout out to y'all, because at the end of the day, as much as we work, as a team, I work with Edrick, with a lot of stuff with game plan. I work with Reggie with my boxing technique, and I work with Travis with my conditioning and my mobility. You got to have guys to train with. You know what I mean? You got to have guys that you can move with. So Mike Rogers, St. Charles MMA, Jeff Henry definitely opened their doors up to us. Where we can get that work. My man Lucas done put in that time with me. Actually, you got anything coming up, Lucas?
Not yet.
We kind of struggling to get a fight.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, UFC, man, we got somebody that's ready, bro. And I'm telling y'all right now, he trained with me. We did about at least like 50 rounds. You know
No,
what I'm
at
saying?
least
Collectively,
50. Yes, sir.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, maybe more because we were getting 10 a day and we worked more than 5 days. So at least 50.
Yeah. So we was definitely clocking in. So yet again, if I'm working and I'm preparing, I'm working with some of the best guys in the world, and he's definitely one of those guys. You know, so that's just a plug in for my guy. You know, and the UFC, yet again, y'all always signing people. You know what I mean? Y'all need that last minute. My man Lucas, yeah, he'll be ready for that.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
I mean, Lucas, you're a hell of a fighter, great grappler, game opponent. Like, your knowledge for the game of mixed martial arts is second to none, I felt like. And I know you're going to get that opportunity soon for sure.
Hey, man, thank you. Fighting is all I know. You know, I've been around for a minute. I'm 29 now, and I've been training for 15 years, so it's more than half my life. You know, I've seen a lot of faces. You just don't see somebody like Buck all the time, too. You know, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, going forward, Joaquin, of course, we've talked about a little bit this episode, but what does a main event mean to you? Like, what does, of course, against a guy who's been a key figure at the welterweight division, but just in general, your first main event, where removed from earlier this year, you being in Vegas and calling your shot and not getting the exact opportunity you wanted for the St. Louis card with Derek Lewis. You got the co-main event, which is pretty cool, but you finally get it. You've been calling for it for a while. So what does that mean to you?
I think, you know, it's all divine timing, you know? Like, I feel like this one right here, this moment that we got, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, it's a situation that we ready for, you know? I feel like even though I would have liked to fought in St. Louis and been a main event, you know, this right here, I feel like all the key elements that are put together led me to be prepared for the opportunity that I'm getting that's right in front of me. So now that we here, it's just that, you know, I'm ready to show up and show out and do exactly what I feel like I've been doing for every fight, and that's still in the show. But instead of still in the show, it's just my show, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to go out there, man, and put on a dominant performance, man. So, you know, it means a lot to me that I finally got the opportunity, man, and we actually about to go out there and do what we do best.
So with the last card was over the weekend, UFC 310. What were some key moments, thoughts, takeaways? Everybody feel free to chime in. What were some thoughts from 310?
From 310, I think it was a cool little card. You know, you already know me though, like who I was paying attention to. You know, so we was locked in on the Ian Gary and the Shawcott fight, and for me, I feel like it was a cool little switch up because it's two undefeated guys. You know what I mean, and they definitely have been on a streak and on a tear, but they did not live up to the performance that they should have. You know. With all the fights, you know, that Shawcott has been putting on, with the majority of them being finishes, and then Ian Gary, you know what I'm saying, being a type of fighter to kind of go through a fight unscathed, you know. Like, yeah, we seen a competitive fight, but we didn't see, like, a war, something that a lot of people wanted to tune in to go back and watch, right? It wasn't that type of fight. And I feel like, funny enough, the way that Ian Gary fought, it gave Shawcott the ability to be that guy, you know, but instead he went into the wrestling. He tried to shoot. He tried to become more of a grappler and whatnot of that nature. And the reason why that is because I do truly believe that Ian Gary was the better striker that night. But they didn't live up to the performance of, you know, being that next title contender. So I feel like we can really kind of steal that position in that spot if we get a knockout, or when we get a knockout on Kobe Covington. So that's just how I feel, you know.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that oftentimes when two guys train with each other, you know who got the better of each exchanges. Like, I can remember any guy who ever got the best of me pretty much at any moment. That's just kind of how fighters are wired. If you care, that you remember those sort of things. And I think we saw a bit of a sparring match that was also a co-main event a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's a couple reasons why that happened. I won't get into too many key details because depending what's the next, you know, we'll save that for in the cage. But I think also each guy was very tentative because they were a bit afraid to get into an actual fight because they know what each other does well. So if Shawcott got a little overextended on a punch, he might get knocked out. If Ian got a little carried away with striking, he might get taken out and submitted. So it's like holding themselves back. And I felt like it wasn't boring, but it wasn't as much of a high-paced fight as it could have been. Okay, it was a little boring. But you know, like, it's high stakes and it's easy to say go throw it out there, but that's what they're doing. And I feel like you said something earlier in the week. If either one has a performance like that, and you know you get the option to face them, they can't perform like that.
No,
you know,
they'd have to
bring a different game.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Like, when I seen that Ian Gary fought Shavkat that way, because, you know, we was preparing for a guy that's going to stay on his pedals, constantly move backwards, you know what I mean, circling around the cage. And I was like, bro, we got to hunt this dude down. Like, we got to chase. But Ian Gary stood his ground, you know, in that fight. But it was Shavkat that initiated the wrestling, trying to take him down, clinch him up against the cage. You didn't, so he tore off my man's shorts, you know what I'm saying, trying to get easy access. It's crazy.
Have you ever seen that before?
Nah, I ain't never seen that before.
Have you guys ever seen fighters' shorts getting torn?
Not torn. You know, Derek Lewis is the first one to drop
Yeah,
this.
but that's elective. That's you choosing to take off your trunks in a
But no
celebratory
fan was
fashion.
seen that in boxing either. To tell you the real truth.
Right?
Yeah, but I'm saying guys shorts start coming down. You know what I'm saying? But
That was a new one.
He didn't even know what happened himself. He was confused.
He's like, what you mean take my shorts off? Yeah.
You know what, bro? I kind of feel like just watching a fight though. Like I feel like it's like they were scared to let their O's go because, you know, first thing, you know, it was kind of like they both being undefeated was kind of the main thing they kept hammering. This guy's undefeated, this guy's undefeated. So when they sitting there and you sitting there, when you watching these two guys and they just sitting there and they were like, all right, come on, man, do something. Poke them, scratch them, pinch them. I don't care what you do. And they was too cautious, too careful.
That's 100.
And you know, so they were just kind of like, man, I know if he beats me, my stock will go down.
Right.
So I felt like it was just, instead of somebody just being aggressive at like, hey, I'm gonna put the balls to the wall and I'm gonna go get this dude.
Right.
And you can be a great loser and a poor winner. Because you can still lose and people like, yo, I'm a fan now because this dude went out and got it. Compared to a winner, be like, but you boring though, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So you still want to be exciting. It's still entertainment. And I felt like for fans who go look at it and be like, nah, that ain't it, bro. Like, who can we find in this division that's gonna be explosive, that's gonna be fun? Like, I'm for sure Pete Shavkat barely even talk English, right? Ian Gary talk too much sometimes, right?
Right.
Bilal Muhammad, what's the boy say? He got a whole name was what's his name?
You gotta remember the name. They
So
didn't
you
even know.
telling me I
They didn't
need
know
to-
he was a champ,
right?
Yeah.
So if I say the only person that's who need to get the belt and that's gonna charismatic and the people gonna be like, yo, I love his attitude, personality, is my man, and I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys. Let me tell y'all something. Look, see, when I get in front of cameras, I get to acting a fool, right? But so I'm not a, he know me, he know I'm not a yes man.
No.
He know I'm gonna keep it 100 with, right? Buck, I asked me something like, no. But this dude, I feel like when he becomes champion, people gonna love him because he got the personality. And when I'm looking at UFC, I'm like, these dudes don't got the personality. You may have the skills, but outside being a fighter, you have to have a personality, dude. That is what makes superstars. Because you can be skillful, but they be like, boy, you boring as hell,
And
bro.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. Like you said, like these guys want to keep their O's. You know what I mean? Like for me, I done lost already.
Right.
You know? And I feel like, yet again, it's like it's what you willing to risk. And like you said, like you can be that type of person where people can still love you even if you take a loss because they gonna see if you put it all out there for them, you know? And I'm that type of fighter. Like, you know, I'm never gonna be just, if I got something to give, I'm finna give it all, you know?
Facts,
And in that fight and in that cage, I feel like, you know what I mean, that is the perfect place where you let that shit go. Anything that you reserving or you keep it back, that's what you gonna regret. Like Ian Gary gonna regret that he didn't pull the trigger a lot of times in that fight, you know what I mean? Because he felt like he was winning or whatever, you know what I'm saying, with that shit, you know?
Well, I have a feeling that, and it's just my suspicion, I can't substantiate the claim, but I just felt like both of them were a little afraid to get tired in there as well.
I agree.
You know?
Oh, they was already tired though. That's the crazy part. In the third round, they wheezing.
You know, I had a coach who always would say fatigue makes cowards out of all of us, and I just felt like neither one wanted to be tired and at their opponent's in the opponent's favor. Like they didn't want to be to their detriment and tired. You know, when you're on the bottom and you know a guy can, you know, be heavy on top and, you know, as Habib would say, smash, you know, and land that ground and pound. And when you're tired and your hands aren't up and you don't have the same reflexes, you don't want a guy in front of you who can knock you out. And I feel like a lot of that was in that cage too, where I saw them kind of holding back just in case.
Right.
And not that you should go and try to put everything out there and fight as fast as possible, but
round.
you also should try to go win, you know. And I feel like both of them were content going to a decision.
And that's the thing about that too. Like a lot of people will try to make the excuse like, oh man, they prepared for each other for only like 2 weeks. That has nothing to do with anything.
I mean, they work with each other for longer than that.
But yeah, and that's true too. But regardless of that point though, I still trying to figure out why were they getting tired in the 3rd round. You know, like, y'all still knew that y'all had a 5-round fight that y'all had to deal with, you know. Like, the preparation for what we do, yet again, like I said, I'm very intrigued to see how my body reacts to 5 rounds. If Kobe is able to survive, you know what I'm saying, leading up into the championship rounds, like, I want to see how I react, you know what I mean? Like, how my heart rate, you know what I'm saying, am I able to still have a low heart rate, or am I pacing real fast, you know what I mean? Am I overexerting on the way that I breathe? But it's crazy to me because, like, when I look at these guys, they went 3 rounds and they was exhausted, you know? Like, when I go 3 rounds, I'm like, bro, I can go another 2. Yet again, it's easy to say that if you've never been through that, but I feel like that's what kind of gives me my confidence that I can push, because my preparation, yet again, bro, we working for hours. Like, you know what I'm saying? We not working for only, 15 minutes or 25 minutes. Like, we literally putting in 2 hours in the gym. So if I could put in 2 hours in the gym, if I can do 10 rounds, you know what I'm saying, nonstop, having a fresh body on me, and I got one person I got to deal with, like, this easy work.
So let me ask you. So that fight was to see who's gonna fight Bilal for the belt, correct?
Yeah.
Potentially.
And they
Potentially, right.
They only had 2 weeks to prepare for each other.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yes, but they both were preparing for fights. So.
I can care less because I'm gonna tell you why. It makes no difference to me. Because 2 weeks, 1 week, that belt is on the line. If that's something you've been dreaming of as a young kid, you dream to get the Super Bowl. As a young kid, and want to do it in the NBA, the finals. Boxers, they want to be champions. UFC guys, they hunt for the title. You can give that man 30 seconds and you be like, yo, let me tell y'all something. I don't got much time, but I got to go get this, bro. So what I'm kind of pointing to is,
I know exactly what you said.
mentally, I think they got drained mentally of, man, dang, dude, the big lights, man, and it's only a couple weeks, and it don't matter, bro. That's the belt on the line. You need to go out there and get it, bro. Ain't nobody gonna give you that.
No.
So all that old 2 weeks, 30 seconds, man, go get it. Go get it, man.
And that's the thing, yet again, I feel like it's different between me and a lot of other guys. It's just like, I'm not looking to get the judges to raise my hands. I'm looking to put you out, and I'm looking to finish you at every given moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every punch has bad intentions to finish you. You know, and for real, a lot of guys don't look at it like that. They look at it as winning and losing. I look at it as living and dying. You know, like, this person beat me, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I don't make it back home, right? But if it's my choice, you know what I'm saying, I'm deciding, I'm choosing you, and we burying you tonight.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's just like, that's what that is. That's a fight.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
If that referee wasn't there, you know what I'm saying, and ain't nobody intervening, like, you up out of here.
Yeah.
So I feel like that mentality a lot of guys don't have. You know what I mean? That killer be killed attitude.
So moving forward, we had another interesting moment from the same, sticking with the welterweights. Bilal Muhammad tried to get in the cage, and it seemed like the UFC security didn't know who he was. What do you think about
Joe Rogan
that?
helped him out, though. You know what I'm saying? Got him up in there, got him to pass. You know, it is what it is. I think even the security, I feel like it's a joke now. Like,
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a little trolling thing with Bilal, but either way, though, it's just like you said before. You know what I mean? If you don't have that personality, if you don't have that charisma for people to attach themselves to you and want to watch you, right? Like, people not gonna pay attention, you know. And unfortunately, I think Bilal is one of those type of guys. Even though I feel like he's a winner, he's not the type of guy that, yet again, you looking back and trying to go watch his fights, right, for entertainment value. And with that being said, it makes it hard for the UFC to kind of push that brand and push his market, right? But a fighter like me, yet again, bro, like, I don't even have to say it. Just go back and watch, right? Like, there's countless fights that you can go back and watch, whether I'm winning or whether I lost, you know what I mean, that you was entertained by, you know? So with that being said, it's just like, you know, with the whole Bilal situation, yet again, it's just like, you know, I think that he put that on himself, you know what I mean, because of the fighting style that he has.
Yeah.
Ironically, the security didn't get to remember the name memo. That's pretty sad, man.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy seeing a champion. You know, like, obviously we saw not guys who were former champions like Brock Lesnar in DC. They get in there and it seems like it's like they're ready for the promo to be cut. And I thought, you know, when that was happening, they understood, like, obviously Bilal's the champion, and they're trying to do the next promo, you know, kind of serving up a beach ball for Bilal, and then they won't even let him get over the railing,
Right.
and Joe Rogan having to bail him out and let him know who he was. So I thought that was just kind of crazy, but that does open up an opportunity for everybody else. Obviously, he has not made the impact that he would probably want to, and I think the welterweight division's wide open. Mm-hmm. Moving on, we'll talk about the main event a little bit. What did you think about the main event with what's his name? I've never seen the guy fight before, so I can't.
Pantoja and Kai Asakura.
Kai Sakura. There we go. I'm sorry.
We watched it in the car. I ain't gonna lie. So we cut we cut our live short and just headed home because it was getting late, bro. It was
For sure.
getting late. But we finished the fight in the car. But exactly what we expected. I feel like once you win a UFC title, it's just levels to this game. And with Kai, he is a good fighter, but any person that he fought that was of a level or a fighter that was in the UFC currently, he had lost to. He lost to a Manel Cape. He lost to another guy. I think he was signed in the UFC and then went to Bellator. Can't remember his name, but he lost to that dude as well. So it's just, with that being said, it's just like now you fight one of the best flyweights, not just in the division, but in the world. And with that being said, it's just like, it really got shown that night. I think it was the first round or. What round was it that he got finished?
I think it was maybe the third round.
Third round, yep. Third round he got finished. And, I just believe, like, with that fight, just with Pantoja, it just shows that, UFC fighters, bro, are just on a different level.
No, I agree. I didn't really have much interest in the fight. I saw, and I'm not shitting on him, Kai Asakura, did I say it right? I saw him in Vegas with a photo shoot with some shades and taking pictures. And, like he was a superstar. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I never saw the guy fight. So, and then you told me a little bit about some of his background, that he had already lost before and that he fought some UFC talent. He didn't fare so well against them. So I was pretty surprised to see him get the opportunity. And it seemed like it was a one-sided fight and he didn't have much success. So I wasn't too surprised there.
Well, I'm not surprised by the opportunity because, again, anything can happen in MMA.
And also, flyweight is kind of waiting for that.
Pantoja could have got caught with a knee or something like that.
True. He's a really good striker.
And then Kai would have been an overnight star,
of course,
being from Japan and being the first one to not legitimize, but like actually be the first Japanese UFC fighter, to actually win a title. But with that being said, it's just like that market over there, they love the flyweight division. You know what I mean? Even with Demetrius Johnson, like he was big over there in the one. So that's what the UFC, they want to have a fighter that's able to market to that audience where they can bring the UFC over there. They even talking about, now I don't know if it's true though, but they trying to put Kai with another main event in Japan, even though he just had an L. So, but they know that people gonna buy and gonna sell that thing out. So that's the reason why he got that opportunity. For
sure. And also for Pantoja, if you look, I saw some meme and it was just showing his wins, and I think he beat like 7 guys in the top 10. So it's like they're looking for somebody for him to fight, and right. I would think like somebody like Charles Johnson would probably be a good guy for him to fight, but obviously they're looking for other markets and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, that could be possibly next, right? Because obviously you ain't got no choice now, right? So with that being said, you give guys that's on the lower end of the rankings a chance and an opportunity, right? And I feel like, they don't really do it for everybody, but they have done it before where they kind of leapfrog guys, over rankings and stuff like that. It don't allow them to have to climb up the ladder. And I feel like in a situation like this, it's kind of good for guys that, haven't fought, the number 5 or the number 6 to get to the number 3 guy and all this other stuff, and just to go for that belt, because yet again, you're going to have to put a lot of mileage on your body. Things happen in the fight where, yet again, you get bumped down. Like, you close. You could beat the champ, but you can't beat this dude because due to styles, right? And I feel like you can have an opportunity in the flyweight division where you can kind of speak your name out there because they looking for a fight right now.
True.
You know what I mean? They looking for somebody to sell that type of card for the flyweight division.
For sure. There's a couple challengers. I think Amir Albazi, but
he just lost though.
Oh, he just lost?
He just lost. He lost to Brandon Moreno.
There we go. So there you go. That makes total sense now. Yeah. Lastly, from 310, I think one of the notable things we're seeing Anthony Smith, Clay Guida, and who else was Chris Weidman. There we go.
Yeah. The old heads.
What do you think about? I mean, I don't like to personally say it, but there comes a time for all of our favorite heroes, whether they were UFC champions or title contenders or just kind of journeymen, so to speak. That time's enough. What do you feel about their performances, and just kind of sum up like when enough is enough in your eyes?
Did any of them win? I'm sorry.
No.
No, yeah, ain't no win. Yeah, all right.
Jesus,
Bro,
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I think they all got finished.
Father
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
bro.
Clay Guida, he got
Because we
submitted.
missed a couple of the early ones.
Clay got submitted.
Uh-huh.
Chris Weidman, he got knocked out, right? And
I
then
can't remember.
I'm pretty sure Anthony Smith got stopped as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's time to hang it up, and not in a disrespectful
Of
way.
course.
Like it only gets worse.
As time goes on.
It don't get better, right? And that's the beautiful thing about with Anthony Smith. Like, he even Chris Weidman works, works on the table and stuff like that. They able to speak, not necessarily commentary, but like break down fights and stuff for the UFC for the fans to be tuned in and be knowledgeable about the sport. That's a good gig, you know what I mean? That's a good job. You can do that constantly without, taking no damage and without getting hurt. So I feel like, if you got an opportunity where you can do that, why do you want to fight? You guys done a lot with your career. I feel like, their name can go so far because they've been with the UFC. Chris Weidman then became a champion, Anthony Smith, with as many as damn near 60 fights, under his resume. Like, they can do seminars, all across the world, and really get paid like that. So it's just like once you get to a certain age, I think it's time to like kind of hang it up and just realize that now if you really in shape and you really training like you should be, right, then you can prove to the world that that you can fight these young bucks. But it's just like you got to look at the resume, you got to look at the percentages. If you've been taking more losses than you've been taking wins, then it's time to probably hang it up.
And I think that's a conversation we had. By the way, all three guys, legends in the armor. I'm pretty sure Clay Guida already has at least one fight in the Hall of Fame and will be a Hall of Famer just from all the great accomplishments he had. Anthony Smith challenging, fighting John Jones, being this close to winning the title. If he wanted to, take a DQ, could have been a champion. And then Chris Weidman being an Anderson Silva at a time nobody thought he could lose. So all the legends. And I just think that it comes down to people in your corner, people who are coaching you, people who are close to you, letting you know you don't have it anymore in the same capacity you did. And that's not disrespectful. Father Time's undefeated, just being honest and saying, you've lost a step. You're not the same guy that you used to be. And that's a hard conversation to have, but it happens.
So speaking about that then, so what do you feel about, cornermen throwing in a towel? Like, do you think it should be more active that a corner kind of stops the fight instead of relying on the referee?
Absolutely. I've said it to you plenty of times. I've said it to, many people in my life. When I start to lose my hair, just let me know it's time to let it go. Just cut it. And what I mean by that is when things are not going the way you want it to be, sometimes you just have to let it go. If it's not a place where you can win, live to fight another day. And I feel like it's put on the fighters, and you're not, the fighters aren't in the right mind. Obviously, ego's a part of it. They're thinking of all the opportunities that are missed out. But I forget what fight it was that night. It just wasn't competitive at all. And I think I would have thrown in the towel. I forget which one, but there was one that night that I might have, second round, maybe it was Anthony Smith. I think it was the Anthony Smith fight where, of course you want to finish the fight, but when it's over, it's over. There's no shame in it. Live to fight another day. You don't have it tonight. We've all been in a situation, whether it's been in practice or in the cage or whatever. You're just not quite there. And the way I look at it is, I've already told you, if we're in a situation and I'm like, show me something and I don't see it, it's over. Right. I'm going to let you know, this is what I need to see for you to continue. Mm-hmm. And if I don't see that, it's over. I'm going to
anybody whoop my ass like that, yeah, man. Stop that real soon. I ain't trying to get highlighted, but
we can discuss it later. But that's on. I think more coaches need to be open to saying, you don't have it tonight. No, I've seen when you're on point. This is not it. Yeah, Lucas, what do you think?
Yeah, I was waiting for a pause to jump in there because my head's racing. I'm like, I've been in a position where I'm cornering a guy he's getting his ass whooped, and it's hard to admit that, but I know what it's like to be the fighter, and we're stubborn people, we're hopeful people, and we're clearly egotistical people, and we always think we're the Leon Edwards in the first Kamaru fight, or what was that, maybe second fight, where he landed a head kick. You always think you're one shot away from making this a Rocky story, but sometimes you run out of time, and you feel like if they throw in that towel, that robs you of your chance to come back. But, that is that stubbornness, and your brain and your body are on the line, so you got to have somebody looking out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think, be honest with you, I'm going to keep it a buck, bro. I don't think there's a lot of guys that's have people that's in their corner that really care about them. Like there's a lot of big major teams, but there's not like a lot of good close relationships like we all got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't consider y'all just like my coach. Like I consider y'all family. And with that being said, like if you see your brother or somebody that's close to you that's happening to him, like you want to prevent it and save them, you know what I'm saying, from any more damage and stuff like that. But when a lot of people, they allow their fighter to keep fighting because they know they're going to lose the check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they looking at it as a financial gain or loss, you know what I mean, if they stop that fight. So I feel like that's a lot of situations that fighters be dealing with, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I feel like, when we deal with a lot of our fighters, coaching them, just get to know your fighters well. Get to know, don't make it always a business thing and, become family. Because you got to think that fighter got family too. And you don't want him being in there taking unnecessary damage if you don't have to.
Yeah.
You understand
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? It's about his family, bro. Like you were saying, he can live to fight another day, right? He can always come back, but you don't want him being in there and then, like how he was saying, making it a Rocky story. Like, no, bro, throw in the towel. Let's pack this up, and then we can always
This is a
come
normal
back.
thing in boxing.
And Reg, I'm gonna let you finish.
And then
But
we'll
it-
go in slow motion sometimes. They be like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it is too, and I'm gonna let you finish, is usually not a Rocky story. Rocky's like a million, like that parlay where you put 20, 20 plays on it. Like it's the 20 play parlay. One guy out of 5 million who hit, and then everybody else lost their money. So it's never gonna be a Rocky
But
story.
facts.
So go ahead, Reg.
No, just piggyback off of what Lou was saying. Like you guys, it's not gonna be a Rocky. That's very, very rare. And then those become those classics. Yeah. But you got to think that's why I call them classics. And when we go back and look at classics, it's very rare to see all these classics because it does not happen like that. You get what I mean? So, but you got to think of a guy's family, man. And most of these coaches just think of it business-wise, but you can't, bro. I mean, I get it. You scared to lose the bag, but man, you forgot. If he's beat up, forget you might lose the bag permanently because he's done.
I saw one recently, and I think it was a boxing match. The fighter said, the coach is, trying to, hey, you got this, man. Put your head in. Come on, let's go. And the guy says, hey, coach, I'm honest, I don't even want to be in there. And once you say something like that, it's over.
It's over. It's over.
I would have been like, all right, cool. All right, we're done. And I feel like, and you know how that story in the planet, him getting knocked out, but it's like, once you can tell your fighter doesn't want to be here anymore, he's going to face scrutiny and, embarrassment. So I feel like part of our job is to protect the reputation and protect the brain and all these other things. And it's like, I would take the hit. We can argue about it later, but if I see it going in the way, and like I said, that open dialogue and conversation. If you don't show me something different, it's over.
Right. And then y'all know me too. Like y'all know I'm willing to die out there for real.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know you are.
So y'all do have to protect me from myself. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's just like if y'all know that I do have a chance to win, y'all gonna put it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all gonna tell me the right stuff. Like this is what we need to do. These are the adjustments that we need to make. But not just go out there. Hey, Buck, we got this, man. Just keep moving forward, man. Time is on your side. Just keep hunting up. Bite down on that mouthpiece. Like, nah, that ain't how that work. Because yet again, if the fight is still going the same direction, then it's gonna end the same type of way.
And not to mention, when you think of Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, that's a title fight. You might get one of those, So you extending that window and the biggest opportunity of somebody's life in the right context is different. And Kamaru was winning, but it wasn't like Leon was just getting murdered. He was losing clearly, but and
big difference.
And there's a nuance to those conversations. But
no, I'm talking like no. You said it right. No, perfect example. So not like one of those type of fights, right?
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman and Leon, because you just getting whoa out. But Khalil Roundtree and Alex Pereira, do you think that Khalil Roundtree fight should have been stopped before he got?
I would have threw it in. I think we discussed it. We were at a spot watching the fight, and I was just like, like if Khalil doesn't change his body language, if he doesn't change his output, his frequency, and he's getting hit at the same clip, I think it's up to his coaches to say, hey, throw in the towel or have that conversation about beforehand.
Because I feel like fights like that, you lose some years, bro.
What round did he get him in?
He got him in the last round or the fourth. It was the fourth.
I think it was fourth.
So when was the fight starting to change? Maybe Pereira started picking it up in the third, because I felt like Alex was doing a hell of a job first and second round though.
You mean Khalil?
No, Khalil.
I'm sorry, Khalil. Yeah.
He was. But then the tides turned around the end of that third. And then at the end of the third, that's when he really started to get hurt.
Okay, so
then you trying to see trying to see the pattern, but his body language was different. once he came out in the fourth. Now he was coming out to like, fuck it, I'm a down my shield, but then it was like later into the fourth round. You know what I'm saying? Where they could have easily stopped that fight before.
And you see the serious surgeries he had to have after the fight, and that's the things that people don't think about. And it's like, okay, I understand it being a title fight and everything like that, but he fought as brilliant as you could fight. You know, I'll give him a 97% as effective as you could be to being ineffective, 100% ineffective. Yeah. You know, and once you see something like that change and the guy slow down and he's just a punching bag, I think it's nothing like there's nothing wrong with realizing you're outgunned. You know, like it's like me being in a room with 20 guys and being like, oh, I'm gonna take all you guys. It's okay. Like it's okay. I'm just gonna walk home. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't understand why, you know, more coaches, you know, aren't in favor of doing it. But I think conversation for another show. But I feel like in general, as far as all professional sports go, MMA is a MMA is a sport where coaching is not of the highest ilk and caliber and degree, and making in-game or in-fight adjustments we don't see often. It's like that in general. I mean, it's just unfortunate because there's nothing wrong with just. I mean, you could look at it as being a coward and forfeiting, but it's somebody's life on the line. And you hear stories about, I think it was Shane Carwin, you know, not being able to hold a job. And, you know, he was a scientist and all this engineer, I think. And now he can't hold a job and can't do all these things because his brain isn't right. That's the repercussions for, you know, these type of activities. So,
and that's the sacrifice that we make as all fighters. So, yet again, if you can save yourself, if your corner can save you, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's live on, you know what I'm saying? We can fight another day.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely, bro. No, for real. Yeah, they got family. You guys got families to go home to, bro.
On me.
That's the most important thing, getting home to your family. You know what I mean?
I got to be reminded that on fight night, though, because, you know, that warrior kick in.
I know.
And you willing to kill and you willing to die. You know, and that's not a smart way to think. This is a stupid thing to die over. Yeah. But in every single fight that I've been in, I was willing to die.
That's the mentality of a warrior, though. Yeah, that's the warrior mentality.
Yeah,
bro.
and you know, finishing up, I think it's a multi-part sort of thing. Fighter, is your job to fight and fight to the best of your ability. When that slips, referees, coaches, that's where you step in. You know, because you said warrior. A warrior isn't a punching bag.
No,
you know,
not at all.
like I think it changes when that context comes in. You know.
Yeah.
So just a nuanced conversation, but good talk. Lastly, for you, Joaquin, what does a win do for you in the welterweight division? I feel like it's wide open. What do you feel like a win does for you?
Well, obviously, everybody know that I'm on a 5-fight winning streak right now in the welterweight division. Getting the win over Kobe Covington, somebody that fought for the belt 3 times, lost every single time, you know, but he still fought, you know, considerably some of the best welterweights, you know what I mean, because they was champions. I feel like the performance that I put on is only going to submit, you know, my position that I should fight for the title next. A lot of people are like, man, who you going to call out next? I don't think I got to call out anybody, right? I feel like for me, everything that I've done in the UFC, being signed with the UFC for 4 years, being able to collect 15 fights, you know, and shit, Kobe been signed with the UFC for 10 years and only been able to collect 16, so I'm right there behind him, you know, and the type of position that I put myself in and the people that I surrounded myself with in order to be in this position, I feel like, bro, it's only that time that with a win, we getting the title next, you know, and over, be honest with you, a Shadkat, you know, he talking about he got a little MCL tear, right, you know what I mean, no telling how long he gonna be out, and I know that Bilal, he said he getting ready right now, that he's training. So we might be able to take a situation where, yet again, if somebody don't show up, we put ourselves in position to get that title. So, yeah, man, we up there right now.
For sure. You got Usman, right, coming off of a loss. Leon coming off of a loss. Shavkat coming off of a so-so performance. Why not you?
Exactly.
If you can put Kobe Covington away, why not you? What welterweight has put in the time, has gotten the finish rate, has been as active with that type of success? So why not?
Yeah, be honest with you, I don't think it's no argument, bro. Like, we don't have to talk about it. The results speak for themselves, man. And be honest with you, it's not even the UFC. Like, the fans going to be asking for it, you know? With the performance that Shadkat put on with Ian Gary, bro, yet again, people don't feel like they got their money's worth, you know? Because at the end of the day, no disrespect to, you know, Pantoja, but people wasn't there to watch that main event, you know? They was there to watch that Shadkat versus Ian Gary, the 2 undefeated guys, you know what I mean? The 2 prospects to see who would take, you know what I mean, remember the names, you know what I'm saying, title. So my thing is, it's just like, now that I'm in this position, it's just like, all right, I'm going to give y'all exactly what y'all want. Since y'all done paid y'all hard-earned money and y'all want to watch something great, and then, yet again, this is the last fight of the year, I'm going to give y'all a banger. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to show y'all why I deserve to fight for that title next and why I will fight for that title next, because we taking it. Yeah.
Appreciate Lucas for joining us. Thank you, Coach Reggie. Joaquin, as always. Edrick, Dillard. Thank you for watching another episode of Brick Brothers Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe.
And make sure y'all tune in, man, December 14th, bro, and watch us take the throne, man.